Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Here we go. See, this is what we've been waiting for. The King versus the Monster. Jai Opetaia, David Benavidez. Gaining some serious momentum when Jose Benavidez Sr., David's father, came out and said, yo, we want to fight Jai Opetaia, Cinco de Mayo, 2027. Now, that sent people crazy because all the real ones know this fight ain't no joke, but a lot of us favor Jai Opetaia. Now, we're not taking anything from David Benavidez. We know David Benavidez is a beast, is a really, no kidding, a monster. And I'm not going to come out here and take it to the stupid. I'm telling you, David Benavidez is a monster, and he's a threat to Jai Opetaia. I just think Jai Opetaia, Aussie, oi, 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 the big Ausmoan, I think he's just the cruiserweight king. Now, if Benavidez beats him, this ain't about, oh, you don't know shit about boxing. No, it just means that David Benavidez is just that kind of special fighter. If he beats Jai Opetaia, then maybe David Benavidez needs to go to heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we've been saying about Jai Opetaia. Bubble up to heavyweight. Conversely, if Jai Opetaia clips David Benavidez, then to me, Jai Opetaia shouldn't waste any valuable energy at cruiserweight anymore. Bubble on up and go to heavyweight and really start to make some dough. But that being said, you know, that's my opinion, but I still have people out here asking me, hey, Hood, who's really the king? And I'm going to tell you right now, Jai Opetaia, he has an enormous claim to the throne. You know what I mean? He has an enormous claim to that throne. And Benavidez has now equally kind of created a compelling claim after moving up from light heavyweight and dominating Gilberto Ramirez, becoming a unified cruiserweight champion. He has another big fight coming up later this year. But the thing is, boy, when his dad came out and he said, yo, I'm going to put a date on this shit. Everybody talking. That Hood Champion guy is talking. All right, May 2027. Que paso? Well, cool. Que paso, amigo? Shit. We want to see. And that makes a difference, boy, because I said, damn, man, you know, he came out kind of aggressive with it, too. So this ended up not being a like, well, yeah, David should fight Jai. No, the Benavidez camp was like, yo, let's make the Opetaia Benavidez in May. And that is a direct challenge. And so the energy has definitely shifted, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to say this, when it comes to the Ausmoan Jai Opetaia, he's the cruiserweight king. He enters the conversation, he's going to enter the fight as the division's probably most dangerous fighter, most accomplished fighter. You know, he got the ring title. He's the man. They stripped him of the IBF. If he had the opportunity to fight Gilberto Ramirez with putting duck sauce on the carne asada, Jai Opetaia would have knocked his ass out. But the issue here is they've been struggling to get him title fights. Political bullcrap, but he's still 30 wins, 0 losses. He got 23 knockouts, man. Built his reputation around elite level technical ability, southpaw positioning, physical strength, and the ability to fight through adversity. Now, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, that man got his jaw broken in a fight. He fought that whole fight with his jaw broken and still won. So I don't know how many people here have ever had your jaw broken. I never had mine broken, but I was sparring one time and I ended up getting a little fracture, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't a lot of pain. It's just when I was chewing, it was clicking. But I can only imagine getting your jaw broken and hit repeatedly. And that man still went through the fight and did the business, you know what I'm saying? For people who are looking at him, somebody's like, yo, isn't this a all-Mexican showdown? I'm like, nah, Jai Opetaia, he's a fighter. He has Samoan heritage, and Australian heritage, you know what I'm saying? He's born and raised in Australia, but his dad's Samoan, mother's Australian. But the bottom line is, he's one of the most recognizable names in cruiserweight in that boxing, and he's not Mexican, all right? But he's facing the biggest question of his career is David Benavidez. You know, can he defeat him? I say yes. But I'm just telling you right now, David Benavidez is all about taking crowns. He's entering that division. He's not some ordinary newcomer. Everyone knows Benavidez from 168, 175, and now you see him at heavyweight, and he's still dominating and doing the business. There's something special about him. You know what I mean? His physicality, with his size and the fact that he can put on the weight, it translates upward. You know what I'm saying? You saw him come out there and clip Ramirez in the 6th round. It really established him as a legitimate force at 200 pounds. And the ring currently recognizes him as one of the division's leading contenders. But we also recognize that Zurdo was looking more like El Gordo, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. But I did notice there were a couple of spots where he was able to push Benavidez back, and I noticed that, and I said, damn. And Zerto, who didn't really have any success against Benavidez, except a couple of times he pushed him back. What's going to happen when you get in there with an athletic Ausmoan like Jai Opetaia? And Jai Opetaia hits him with the oys. Shit could be all bad for Benavidez. I'm just telling you, when it comes to Jai Opetaia, this fight is so compelling, man. Benavidez, he can collect belts. Opetaia can collect belts. But when they come together and fight, the belts become secondary because fans are going to finally ask, who's the best cruiserweight on the planet? And I just think the time is perfect. The current situation is a bit complicated, and to me it should have happened already, but it is what it is. You got Opetaia scheduled to fight Noel Mikaelian on September 12th in Vegas. Mikaelian, in case y'all are about to say, he was going to fight Benavidez. Yeah, he was. He was originally ordered by the WBC to face Benavidez, but his team says it never received a bona fide offer, and he chose to move forward with Opetaia instead. Who knows what happened behind the scenes? Turkey al Sheikh, when Turkey's in the house every day, it's Thanksgiving, could have put a little money in the hands of the WBC and said, look, we need to make this fight happen with Noel. But the bottom line is this fight could completely change the landscape. If Opetaia beats Mikaelian, his leverage gets even stronger. Word is that title, it's supposed to be on the line. But we got to see how it plays out. I don't know, but it sounds like that title is going to be on the line. So Jai Opetaia could become the WBC champ, or it could continue with some political bullshit, but I don't think so. But the bottom line, that leverage gets stronger. And if Benavidez continues winning at cruiserweight, which I fully expect him to do until he runs into Jai Opetaia, the argument is going to become damn near impossible to ignore, Now, let me just say this. Let me see something here. I want to see something here real quick. I don't know if I looked at this. Because some people don't know who the hell. Let me see. Because I don't even know if I was. Oh, yeah, I do. I do have it right here. Okay. So this right here is the killer. This is Jai Opetaia, okay? You can see, man, big, strong guy in shape. You know what I'm saying? He's out there working, training, staying locked in, getting ready for whatever comes his way, which is Noel Mikaelian next. You know what I'm saying? This is what David Benavidez is up against. This is what he's getting in the ring with. You know what I mean? And this right here is the, yeah, he is fighting in a couple weeks. Yep. It's one of them damn advertisements. Him on the mitts, with that pad, shadow boxing. You can just look at his legs. A big, strong guy. You know what I'm saying? Big old strong guy. That's a nice ass gym too. Nice gym, man. Cool, moving, shadow boxing. But the bottom line is, Jai Opetaia needs some respect put on his name. And that's what makes this man different. Also Benavidez. It's not just another champion versus champion type fight. It's a style of collisions. You probably noticed if you watch boxing when Jai Opetaia was sparring, saw him in the Southpaw stance. He got speed, he got footwork, he's got technical boxing, he has timing, combination punching, he has distance control, he's got championship experience, he has everything. Then you got David Benavidez. Matter of fact, let me show y'all David Benavidez, man. Because I know there's some fans. Man, you show us Jai Opetaia just because you like him. I like David Benavidez too, so don't get it twisted and shit, you know what I'm saying? I just don't be on this goddamn internet like that, man. Benavidez. Yeah, see? Maybe this right here will show something. Well, it shows a little bit. All right. That's David Benavidez right there. He's talking about fighting. That's him in here, knocking the shit out of somebody. That's him when he was fighting. Man, need to shave them armpits. Shit looking crazy, though. That's not the fight next. That's that referee who was refereeing the, what's his name, Taylor? He was refereeing Serrano Manzur. Okay. So the bottom line is, David Benavidez is a monster as well. He's a beast, but that pressure that he brings is no joke. That physical strength is no joke. The relentless combinations are a problem. Volume, his size, durability, the body punching, and he has an ability to overwhelm opponents. So I think the question becomes, can Benavidez trap Opetaia? And can he drown him in pressure, right? That's what he's going to need to do. But Opetaia is going to need to keep Benavidez at the end of his punches. So that's what it boils down to, you know what I'm saying? And here's the crazy part. Fans have spent months and months and months debating whether Benavidez actually wanted Opetaia. Even I was saying, yo, I understand you got your manager and you got your promoter and people over there putting duck sauce on the fried rice, trying to line Benavidez up for easier opportunities, big money, big accolades and shit. But the risk is lower. They know fighting Opetaia is a problem. But for his dad to come out here and say, now, let's make it. Obviously, they ran out of duck sauce, so they got to eat that fried rice, with or without the duck sauce. Shit. But the bottom line is the whole conversation has changed. The narrative can no longer be that, why won't Benavidez fight Opetaia? And I know all the Aussies and the Samoans, man, we joke in the comments. But now I want to see what y'all say. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we're at a point where it's like, can the two sides actually make a fight? And I would tell you, I don't care what anyone says about A side, B side, as long as these guys are getting some money, good money, the fight happens. And then, that interesting question about can the two sides actually make a fight? Well, that's null and void, and we got the fight. And May 2027 could be huge, man. You know what I mean? Cinco de Mayo weekend. Where they're going to have the fight, I don't know. Pretty sure it's not going to be in Australia. It'll probably be somewhere in Vegas or somewhere. It's going to be a huge fight, man. But it gives promoters plenty of time to build that into a legitimate event. So I'm just trying to imagine how they're going to market it. The Cruiserweight King versus the Mexican Monster, the Ausmoan versus the Mexican, the El Monstro, the Undefeated Champion versus Undefeated Champion, Speed versus Pressure, Southpaw versus Pressure Fighter, Technical Precision versus Physical Destruction. And bottom line is, however they describe it, it's going to be one night to decide who rules Cruiserweight. And I just think Jai Opetaia's got to do the business, but he got to prove some shit though now. Before he crowned the fight, Opetaia still has business to handle. He got to fight Mikaelian. That shit comes first. That can't be overlooked. Opetaia can't spend the next few months preparing for Benavidez while Mikaelian's standing in front of him. Next thing you know, Mikaelian upsets the apple cart. You know what I'm saying? That shit happens in boxing. So what's supposed to be deemed an easy fight becomes a career-changing disaster. And that's the first question. Can Jai survive Mikaelian without suffering significant damage? And if yes, then Benavidez' fight becomes even more attractive. Jai has to basically get it in and just blast Mikaelian up out of it. But I'm going to tell you, Mikaelian training with Pedro Diaz. Pedro Diaz is that Cuban cat. Everyone became familiar with him when he was training Miguel Cotto. That dude ain't no joke, man. He's a great trainer. So I'm curious to see what version of Mikaelian shows up when he and Opetaia square off. But I'm also curious to see what Benavidez is going to do, because Benavidez has a lot to prove. He can't let pass his next assignment. He's at cruiserweight. He's been successful. He has titles. But if he can get up there and do the business and go on to fight Opetaia, that would answer, I think, the biggest remaining question. Can Benavidez defeat the best natural cruiserweight? And that's different from beating another fighter who just moved up. Opetaia spent his entire career operating around that weight. He's a natural cruiserweight. He could easily go up and fight a heavyweight. But that's why the matchup matters, because there's a real prize. You know what I mean? It's not even about belts, sanctioning bodies, promotional politics, all that bullshit. Who cares about rankings? Who cares about social media? I think it's really about these guys being able to call themselves the Cruiserweight Kings. And what I think a rewarding feeling that would be for Jai Opetaia. And of course for David Benavidez, who would have ascended from 168 to 175 there to 200 pounds and to become champion in all them divisions, and especially to beat the big Ausmoan. You know what I'm saying? So we got to wait and see how it all plays out. The cruiserweight division just got another massive jolt. And this is the one that we all need because we're all in shock. And you can expect electricity when these two get in the ring in May of 2027. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.